Hello and welcome to the Broad Street Hockey Podcast, live here on a Tuesday afternoon. I am your host, Ryan Gilbert. Joining me, as always, is my co-host, Joe DeMarini. How are we doing today, Joe?
We're doing all right. We're nearly done with the season, and I don't have to think about this hockey team anymore, or at least as it is constructed currently. How about you? How are you doing?
Yeah, no, we're doing good. We're not going to really talk about many of the games that happened because the games don't really matter right now. Good to see Tyson Forster get a hat trick. He's on fire. Good to see Jacob
Cool.
Pelletier scoring on the third line. But yeah, these games, um, depending who you ask, they're unfortunately winning games. They should be losing. What is Danny Briere doing? Why isn't his team tanking? But we'll get into all that. We're going to get into some team award predictions here. We're recording this Tuesday, 4 o'clock. I'm pretty sure they announced their awards Tuesday evening at some time. So, it's they're going to be out by the time we talk about it. But I think most of these are pretty obvious. So we'll get into that a little bit. Also,
And
shout out.
we are always right. We are always correct. All of our predictions are right all the time. So
All of our opinions. Yeah, we have the best opinions here.
the best
Yeah,
opinions.
shout out JH in the chat saying that music and B-roll gets me every time. So relaxing. It is so relaxing. Sometimes when I'm not coming in with energy, I hear that music and I'm like, oh, it's gonna lull me to sleep. But
Yeah, you can't see it because we're off camera, but like I'm always like bobbing my head around to it. That's why I come in to the start of the
Yeah.
show like bouncing around.
Yeah, it's good stuff there. Yeah, you can join us live on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to Broad Street Hockey. There are plenty of postseason, off-season content coming up with a draft and whatnot. So make sure you do that. And of course, make sure you subscribe to the podcast feed on Apple, on Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast. We appreciate all of that. And
Yeah, and when you subscribe, hit that notification bell so you get updates when any of our videos or streams come around.
I'm going to try to do a better job of scheduling out streams to give you guys some sort of warning here. But, hope to go on live more as the offseason comes up here. I said we're don't want to talk about these, but I do want to talk about. I was at MSG on Wednesday night for the insane 8-5 game. Tyson Forster hat trick. It felt like
Cool.
it was like a preseason atmosphere. It was like we got there late. We sat down. I'm like, the game's going on. Like there's nothing going on whatsoever. I will admit the goal song it's catchy. It's good to have a goal song you can sing along to, but it was just no juice in that building whatsoever.
You were singing the Rangers goal song?
I was not singing it, but I
Okay.
understand how how even in a lost season for them, it's still enjoyable. It's better than whatever the Flyers have.
Yeah, I know the Van Halen song ain't it for me, fam. I might be the only person who really liked that. I thought that was a banger for a
That
goal
last year?
song. No, that was like 2021, maybe.
That is good, and I'm shocked that you remember it. But when you were singing that there, I got it. It brought me right back.
Oh, it was a banger. They sucked that season, but hey, that was a good goal song. I think everybody hated it because it was the year they let you vote on the goal song.
Oh yes,
And that
yes,
ended up winning.
Yeah,
It was Dupe. Yeah, exactly, JH. It was Dupe.
it was
Dupe was
not
the
Duke.
song
Duke,
that No, no,
Duke
no.
was, oh, Duke.
Everybody
Was the
voted for Dupe.
Yeah, yes,
And then they chose that. But that's a banger.
Yeah, Dupe was good like 10 years ago. Back when Briere was playing. So I hope maybe they'll bring it back when they're good again here. Another note from MSG. There was this random Flyers fan. After like one of the goals, I stood up and cheered, and then she like came down the steps. She like pointed at me and she like gave me these like it's like tattoos. She had like tattoos on her face. I was like, all right, let me put them on. We put them on. I posted one of the pictures on Blue Sky. So that was a great time there.
Yeah, I love that. Also, I always, whenever someone says MSG, I just think monosodium glutamate, and I like the salty Rangers, man. The salty Rangers.
They were definitely salty there, but yeah, Rangers win. Shootout win over the Islanders. The only loss point you can complain about is Sunday, where you get freaking Nick Delorier goal, Hathaway goal, but like it's these guys are playing for jobs. They're playing for contracts. Bradshaw's playing for or coaching to see who's going to be good next year. I mean, they started Kolosov, like they gave Kolosov a start, and he got the win out of it. So they're not going to scratch players to tank, but I do see a lot of people out there being like, "Oh, if the Flyers are only going to get picked 7 in this draft, there's only 5 or 6 good players. Well, you have to lose every game." And then I see people even saying, "Oh, if you're not going to get a top pick this year, let's just tank next year so we can get McKenna." And that's just not how it works. It's not how it works, Joe.
That's you got to get out of the cycle at some point. You can't be tanking every year for the top player because then you're the Buffalo Sabres, and where does that get?
Or you look right across the hall inside the Farg, the Sixers. They tanked. That they were the tanking team, and like I know not all hockey fans are basketball fans, but you can look over and see the Sixers fans. They got Embiid. They got Eastern Conference Finals appearance out of it against Toronto. They got an MVP out of it, but like now they're right back. Had a more disappointing season than the Flyers did, which is I guess not saying a lot because the Flyers had no expectations, but yeah, we saw how to not tank in Philadelphia, and it's just not worth it. And especially like you said, in hockey, Buffalo, even Edmonton tanked for McDavid. They took a while to make the Stanley Cup final. Toronto tanked for Austin Matthews. They've won one playoff series since then. Like that's just not it's just not how it works in the NHL.
Yeah, and I will get into it. I do not have confidence in the Edmonton Oilers in their matchup against the LA Kings, but
neither do I.
We'll focus on the Flyers first and get to NHL news later in the episode. So, should we start with the team award predictions before they get tweeted out and we get spoiled?
Yeah, it's going to do here. We're going to start with the Barry Ashby Trophy for the most outstanding defenseman, as voted by the local sportscasters and writers. Travis Sanheim won it last year. Let me scroll back up to see who won it previously. Provorov before that, Sanheim the year before, Provorov the 2 years before that. It has to be Sanheim again, right? Like I know he's had a tough second half of the year, but he seems to have the respect of his teammates, the respect of the writers. He's averaging 24-33 a game. York is second at 20 minutes and 50 seconds. Like I feel like it just has to be Sanheim.
This is Ryan Ellis erasure. No, I think if Rasmus Ristolainen had finished the season healthy, he would be the shoo-in to win this.
Ooh.
But I don't know if they can give it to him when he's missed the past month and a half. Right?
Definitely not. I don't think he'd be a shoo-in to win it. I feel like there might be a faction, if you can call voting for this having different factions, but like I still feel like Sanheim, they were really talking up going into what was it called? The Four Nations, of course, Four Nations face-off.
Sure.
He played well there.
But hey, who else? Oh, Risto didn't play. He was injured. He sat out.
Risto was injured. Yeah, Risto was injured. Dang. And Sanheim's been the number one guy for the Flyers. Like he's averaging. Risto averaged 20 minutes, 31 seconds. So solid, good second pair guy. Improved a lot. Maybe we can talk about him for that award. But
power play Risto.
Power play merchant Risto. He had did he even have? He had 3 power play assists. Yeah, 3 power play assists.
Yeah. He was the point man.
So, yeah, he was the point man. So, but yeah, I think it has to be Sanheim. That's probably. I mean, a lot of these I feel like are kind of easy choices.
Yeah, I'd go with Sanheim. York is a dark horse choice. I feel like he had a better season than people give him credit for. Just there weren't any points. There wasn't any scoring. And he was also not at all liked by Torts. We've come to realize maybe he gets the award as like you got Torts fired, man. Here's your award. Here's your trophy.
I mean, the media does vote for it, so they could give it to him for that. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's going to be Sanheim, but I would like to see York. Although that could affect contract negotiations. Like, look, I'm the Barry Ashby winner. You're going to try and underpay me? Nah, son. You're going to give me my money.
Yeah, I feel like if Sanheim wasn't so, I feel like he is just head and shoulders above everyone else. He's like not like extremely, but like if Sanheim was just having like a mess season, like I could see York in there. Drysdale's second half could maybe give him some votes if Risto stayed healthy. But Sanheim, he's the Flyers' number one defenseman. He's not a number one defenseman on a Stanley Cup winning team. Maybe a good 2, maybe a 1A, 1B with situation there, but for right now, he was I think the most outstanding Philadelphia Flyers defenseman this season.
Did he miss many games?
He's played in all 80. He's played in all 80. Him and the Travi have played in all 80 games so far. They're the only.
That's shocking.
Forster missed 1. Was he a healthy scratch once, or did he?
He was sick, I think. Right, like there was an illness or something.
I'm trying to look it up.
I don't think he was scratched, or was it like a Luchenko thing early in the season?
Tyson Forster out Flyers does not Good results.
He might have been
Healthy
scratched when
scratch.
Jet Luchenko was up. So they got Cates in, they scratched Forrester, they played
He was a
Luchenko.
healthy scratch. Yes, he was a
Yeah.
healthy scratch. It looks like, unless this was from
Yep.
last season, but yeah, he was a healthy scratch once. So
Yeah.
and now he's
That
what,
makes
5
sense.
goals in the last 2 games, tied with Konechny and
Matvey.
Michkov for the
Yeah.
team lead.
That's crazy. He about to get paid. Some people
He's
are
gonna get
worried that
paid.
other teams might try and offer sheet him. I think the Flyers just match. They say, "Fuck you, we're matching this. Like we want this guy on our team," and I don't think they'd bat an eye at it.
An offer sheet also takes the player. The player has to be willing to sign it, and I don't think
Hmm.
Forster would sign elsewhere. Like maybe York
Hopefully,
if Torch was still around, but I feel like they've clearly sided with York. They want to keep York around. So I mean, York, Forster, Cates. I could see if someone really overpays Cates with an offer sheet, they might not match that. But once again, I just don't think these guys want to leave Philly. Which speaks to
no.
the culture they're building, even if they're not getting a top 5 pick.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so we officially both think Sanheim for the Barry Ashby.
I think it's going to be Sanheim, but I'd like to see York get some consideration. When they announce the winners, do they show like the ballot totals to see how close it was? I don't remember.
I don't think so. I'll do a
No,
quick
just the winner.
search of my email for the press release. But no, I think it's just the winner. Maybe I think some writers might come out and say, "Oh, I considered this guy, but Sanheim was so good," or something
Okay,
like that.
sure,
Yeah,
fair
and the
enough.
season rewards email last year or 2 years ago did not show that the voting there. So yeah, both think Sanheim for the outstanding defenseman, which makes sense. Moving
Yeah.
on to the Bobby Clark Trophy for the team's most valuable player.
Hmm.
Travis Konechny won it last season. That was his first time winning the award.
Deserved.
Deserved and probably deserved again this year.
Mm, I mean, again, Cam York got the coach fired, so maybe he's the MVP that we didn't know we needed. Um, I mean, Michkov has a case. Honestly, he might have a case for it. Um, Noah
Mm,
Cates, no, not Noah Cates. I mean, Noah Cates has been playing above his head for a while
I mean,
and
there is a
handling it
most improved
well.
player award that we're going to have probably a few debates about.
That's the
That
hottest.
yeah,
That's a tough one.
yeah,
I think it's TK or Michkov for this one.
yeah.
If
No,
Harrison had had a better season, maybe it would have been him, but he didn't. So
yeah, no. I
sorry.
think it's just Konechny again. Like Konechny kills penalties. I know the PK isn't as good as it was last year, but still, in the middle of the pack there, 77%, leads the
Hmm.
team in points, 15 more than Konechny. I mean, I don't know how many points Michkov has without Konechny, but it seems like their connection's been pretty good there. I mean, and this is probably Konechny's last year to win it because Michkov will be the favorite for team MVP next year.
Hopefully, one can hope.
I mean, unless they trade for Tage Thompson, I mean, or Elias Patterson.
Let's save the Tage talk for another time, please. Cool. Yeah, I think it's going to be Konechny. I'd like to see Michkov as the dark horse, but I think it's going to be TK again.
Yeah,
Repeat.
I think it's DK. I remember having the discussion like early in the year, like November, when Sanheim was clearly playing his best hockey. Like, who is the
Yeah.
MVP right now? Because we thought it might be Sanheim, but I mean, his point totals just did not keep up. I mean, it was nice to see him get a goal at MSG. He has 8 now, 30 points, but
Mhm.
just this team doesn't have a lot of offense from the D. Hopefully, Drysdale can change that in next
Yeah.
year. Hopefully, he can keep that going. But Konechny, I think, clearly the MVP here.
Part of why I want Michkov is because I'm a little pissed at Travis Konechny because my preseason prediction was that he would score 100 points, and he was well on pace for. He's only got 75. He
Mm-hmm.
was so on pace for that in like January, and then just didn't score for the second
Well,
half of the
yeah,
season.
then he took that hit, which is why I'm
Yeah.
kind of confused why he's playing at World Championships. Like that's been reported at least by Kevin Kerr. Not sure if that's anywhere else out there, but I saw a post about that on social media last week. He's been playing hurt, it seems like, since January. Yeah, since like he went down. You always see him getting up. We talk about that, and he
Yeah.
hasn't had many goals whatsoever. I mean, he's had a ton of assists. He's been great setting up Michkov, setting up stuff on the power play when they do connect. But 51 assists, which I think is the most since Giroux, and like not a lot of Flyers have had 50 assist seasons. So that's, I mean, it's impressive for Konechny.
Yeah. I mean, at the maybe it was at the end of last season or the beginning of this season, I wrote an article about how underrated Travis Konechny's setup
Mhm.
game is and how
Yes.
underrated of a playmaker he is. And this season has really just has borne that out, is that he is a much better facilitator than we give him credit for. Um, and this has happened to a few Flyers, a lot of players in general. They get pigeonholed at the draft as this one type of guy, or like they have this one thing that they're really good at. And then when they don't hit that expectation, it's like, I guess they're not as good as we thought, but they're excelling in another point. Tyson Forster, drafted for his shot, was going to be a goal scorer. He's one of the best two-way forwards on the team, as like last year as a rookie, which is crazy. Cam York was pigeonholed as an offensive defenseman. Not a lot of offense, but he's turned into a really pretty like pretty good defensive defenseman
Mhm.
for his stature. So, it Travis Konechny was picked as a goal scorer, right? Like that was kind of his thing. And he scores goals, sure. He looks hurt, so he's not scoring at the rate we expected. But the playmaking is a lot better than I think people realized initially. So
Yeah,
anyway,
and
that was a
and
long-winded MVP.
yeah, MVP, and I mean, he's now finally playing with Michkov. That is his most common line, Couturier Michkov. But he was with
Hmm.
Couturier Farabee for a bit. We know how snake bitten Farabee was, and not really great setting up. Like played with Coots and Tippett for a bit. But yeah, I think he's has been playing hurt. He's definitely not 100%, but still a great season for him and the MVP there.
Hell yeah. All right.
Uh, Next one
Next
here,
up.
the Gene Hart Memorial Award awarded to the player with the most heart. Last year, won by Sam Ersson. It's voted by members of the Philadelphia Flyers fan club. So
Hmm.
we got to try to get, because the fan club, I feel like, and this may be disrespectful to people listening. This is just me as an outsider. It feels like it's a lot of old heads. That's what it
Okay.
feels like to me. So
Okay.
I don't know who do you think would have a good chance for this one?
Scott Lawton. Can you give it
Oh,
to someone who isn't
rest in
here
peace.
anymore?
Rest in peace. Let me
I
see who
think
won it
it's
previous years. Previous years, it was Harrison. Year before that, not gonna talk about him. Zach McEwen before that. Coots, Hayes, Coots, Belmar, Ghost.
I
Like,
think I think it's Garnet Hathaway is like the clear choice here.
could it be Michkov? Could they give it to Michkov as like a you know, as a
Most
kind
heart.
of like a fuck you to Torts? Like you had to deal with Torts and you still put up 60 points.
No, no, I think it'll be like Hathaway or Paling or
Hailing.
Sealer, maybe.
I did read that Sean Couturier is the only player to win the award more than once, so probably won't be Coots. Maybe Sealer, but it seems to always be. I was gonna say it seems to always be a good player, but now I'm seeing in the
Zach
20,
McEwen.
20 well Zach McEwen, and then 2012 2013 Zach Ronaldo won it there. So it's
Zeke
it's
Zeke Grimaldo.
Zeke Ronaldo. So it's really tough to kind of handicap this one.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna say it's Hathaway. He got injured. He came back. He just got nominated for the not the Masterton. What's
King
the
Clancy, is that what it's called?
King Clancy?
King
Yeah, he
Clancy.
got nominated for the King Clancy today. He seems like the kind of heart and soul guy. Um, I I I'm so happy Garnet Hathaway here. I don't understand people who are like, "Well, he's blocking the kids." I'm like, "No, he's not. Like,
No,
he's a legit good player, and if you can't play better than Garnet Hathaway, maybe you shouldn't be in the lineup." But my
Hathaway's the perfect fourth liner. You have him in there.
he's a dream.
He's a great to have the kids come up and play with. Like Dorwert's playing with him. If well, Bump's not going to get time this year, but if like Kaplan comes in and plays like the season finale, he'll probably be on
Yeah.
the fourth line. Like Hathaway just plays hard every shift, blocks shots, hits people. Like he's like the perfect fourth liner. Which I mean, the Flyers may end up trading him next year or something, but for now, love having him in the room.
What I really like too is anytime he's pulled for the interviews between periods, he always seems so engaged and like thoughtful in his
Hmm.
responses. It's not just like, yeah, no, we gotta get pucks deep, we gotta. He always seems to have some like charisma to it. And my mom was the one who pointed it out. Like, man, he's got a career in television after this. There's like a future in some sort of media personality here. And I'm like, I mean, damn, he'd be pretty good on those NBC Sports Philadelphia, him and Al Morgani, they'd probably have a grand old time.
Or I was just thinking maybe as a coach, maybe as an assistant coach
Ooh.
on like the PK for some team. We've seen some of these like grinder types go from being a grinder to Joel Ward. He was a bit better than
Chief.
Hathaway, but he's Chief. Yeah, Rick Tocchet. Rick Tocchet scored goals, but like, if Hathaway wants to coach, I feel like there will be a path for him.
I mean, it's been discussed. I can't remember. It was probably on The Athletic, but they did an article about how all of those grinder guys end up being coaches. And part of it is that if you want to stick in an NHL lineup, you have to be smart as hell.
Yeah.
Like, especially in that depth role, you have to be so smart that you can see the game and process it at a high level. You just don't have the physical, maybe the hands or the skating or whatever it is to be a higher in the lineup player. But to earn your spot, you just have to have a genius level of hockey IQ. And then you see those guys go into coaching because they are really good at, seeding the game. Meanwhile, you get stars like Wayne Gretzky who are terrible coaches because their whole thing is just like, I don't know, just go score a goal. Like, just go out there, do it. What do you need me to tell you to do? Like, just go score the goal. Like, so I think Garnet Hathaway's got this one. Who do you think? Like, who's your pick?
It really is tough. Like, I feel like one of that Cates, Forster, Brink line has to get some sort of award. Maybe they give it to Forster for the most improved, but that's voted
Can
by
you just
teammates.
give the whole line
The whole
most
line.
improved? Just give an entire line most improved.
I think it will be Hathaway. I feel like he's great
Okay.
with the fans. I feel like he is that prototypical like most hard. I thought him or Sealer would win it last year. Maybe Sealer gets it this year. He's played 75 games. He's been blocking shots like in the last seconds of games when they don't matter. So I think it's one of those grinder types. But I really want to see a fight. I just want. When's the last time we had a fight for the Flyers? Like Nick Delorier.
Oh,
There hasn't been. Was it Scott Lawton against Lawton or Farabee? I think there's one more
that's a long
recently,
time
but
ago. Yeah.
let me see if Hockey Fights has like by team.
So we should probably expect one tonight. I think that Matthew Olivier and Delorier will probably throw it down because this Columbus's season rides on tonight.
Sealer and Olivier fought back in December. Most recent two fights were March 1st, Delorier against Logan Stanley in Winnipeg.
Okay.
February 4th, Delorier against Liam O'Brien in Utah.
That's a good one.
And then January 30th, Siplikov against Lawton in that when Siplikov came back after that Paling game.
Yep.
So yeah, it has not been a lot. Has not been a lot this season.
No, and that's fine. I mean, whatever. I mean, most of the league is like, D'Lo, we're not going to fight you. we know we're going to get our ass beat. Like, we're not going to do this.
Well, I thought we might get like a Matt Martin Delorier fight on Saturday, but like Matt Martin's about to retire. They're probably like, no, we got tea times next weekend. Let's keep our hands nice and healthy.
Yeah. Oh, God, I love that. But no, I feel like we'll get one tonight. I think if Columbus gets down a goal, Olivier's going to come out swinging and
I could see
get that team going. But we'll get into our score prediction. We'll do that in our score predictions.
Yeah. So Hathaway or Sealer, I feel like for the most heart here.
I think Paling's got a shot too, because similar to Hathaway, got injured, came back, is on a tear lately. Like, recency bias is a thing, so maybe he's got a shot. But
according to the Wikipedia, it is voted on at their monthly meeting. So I don't know if they like vote every month and then tally it up, or if they vote at their final monthly meeting. So who really knows what that could be? Maybe Lawton could win it if he had all the votes through March.
Yeah, that's true. Or Eric Johnson, honestly, like dude got to 1,000 games.
You see, this team. Eric Johnson got a empty net goal, and the ESPN called him Jack Johnson.
No, I mean there is a lot of. I used to get them confused too, so I feel you ESPN broadcasters, but I'm not a professional broadcaster, so
What's next? We got the Pelly Lindbergh Memorial Trophy for the most improved, as voted by their teammates. Cam York won it last year, Tippett the year before, Sanheim the year before that, Farabee, Lawton going back 5 years now.
So many options. Truly, like Brink, Cates, Forrester, Forrester, I don't think so. I wouldn't give it to Forrester. Brink and Cates have a huge case. Ryan Paling, I think it's too recent for that to be his thing. My pick is Jamie Drysdale, and you longtime listeners, I'm a dry guy. I love me some Jamie Drysdale. So
I got my dry
yes,
guy
I
shirt
have
on.
that shirt too. Yeah, I'm not wearing it, but I have that one too. Dry guy, the fly guy. I always just picture like the shy guys from Mario with like a Jamie Drysdale face. He's my pick. Easy pick. How about you? I know
Drysdale,
you love Bobby Brink.
one of I do love Bobby Brink. I'm pulling up these guys' numbers from last year compared to this year. Paling
Mm-hmm.
had 20 years, 30 years, so I don't think he's in the conversation. Noah
No.
Cates, 2 years ago, 18 last year, 36 this year with some elite defensive play. So he's in the
Mm-hmm.
conversation. Brink, 23 last year in 57 games to 39, same amount of goals. I think it is going to be Forster. His numbers have only improved a little bit. Has 4 more goals, 4 more assists for 8 more points, but I feel like he's just been much more of a dynamic player out there. And yeah, Drysdale is a great choice. I think it's going to be either him or Forster. Don't really see anyone else
Really?
much. You don't think Forster?
No, I don't, because he hasn't remodeled his game. Bobby Brink has completely remodeled how he plays hockey, partially to play under a torch system, but also to stick in the league. Like, he's a smaller player, and when he first hit this league, he was not vicious on the forecheck. He was not like as physical a player. He has really turned his game into something completely unexpected. I go back to this pigeonholing thing that I talked about earlier. Bobby Brink, oh, he's a smallish offensive facilitator who's not that physical and shies away from contact. That ain't what he does anymore. I think there's like, or maybe he has the Hart trophy. He has the Gene Hart.
Oh, he
Like
could have the Hart
he
Trophy. Yeah,
could. That'd be crazy. Everybody loves some Bobby Brink, but no, I think he's got a better case for most improved than Tyson Forrester.
fair enough. I mean, you do have to look at it from the locker room perspective because that is who's voting on it. It's not people looking
Here,
at points. It is looking at, okay, who has improved their game to help us win, like that.
so
And Brink is a good option.
so I'm just looking at his stats now. He had 36 hits in 57 games last season. Do you know how many he had this year?
Probably like 100 more.
98 and 77. Like, he has completely changed how he plays hockey.
Yeah.
And it looks like he's going to stick in the league. I don't know if he's got like top 6 potential, but he's certainly third line floor and a really good PP2 guy. Maybe even a power play 1 guy depending on the unit, but there's a lot there, and he has done a lot of work to make his game viable in the modern NHL. So I'm picking Drysdale, but I totally understand Brink getting the pick here.
Yeah, I mean, and he's been quarterbacking that 5-forward power play. So I mean,
It's
like,
true.
and they did he have an assist on the Forster goal Saturday? He may have. I mean, he's looked good there. I think
Which
it was
one? The power play one?
the power play one where Forster like went backhand in front. I think it was.
No, I think it was even strength
No, that was a power play
against the
goal.
Rangers.
No, against the Islanders Saturday.
Oh, he didn't have any assists against the Islanders.
Okay. Oh well. But I mean, the fact that he has that trust to be the quarterback there on the power play.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how I feel about it. I would like someone that's kind of better at maybe a more size to keep the puck in at the zone, but we got
I mean,
all off season to complain about that.
I know. I mean, most teams that run a 5-forward unit do so because they have elite forwards. Like the Toronto Maple Leafs, they run a 5-forward power play. The Florida Panthers have done that before. I think the Avs never tried it because they had Cale Makar. But the teams that run a 5-forward power play usually do so because they have 3 or 4 star forwards that there's no reason to play a defenseman. So
why do you think they're not using Drysdale? Or I guess even I know Andre hasn't looked good, but like even Andre to see like how they look in these final 5 games. Do they want those guys to focus on 5-on-5? Like, I feel like this is a perfect opportunity. Drysdale gaining confidence, put him out there on the power play. Because I feel like one of the big offseason needs is a power play quarterback. You need someone that can take some attention away from Michkov on the power play. Because right now teams are just keyed in on him. So whether it's like not Gossesbear, but a Gossesbear type, a third pair power play specialist, Like
Why?
Drysdale can be that guy. What do you mean
Yeah.
why? To fix the
What?
power play.
You, th- you just quoted Chuck Fletcher. We brought in Tony D'Angelo to fix the power play. How did that work out?
I want to see. I want to see if Drysdale can do it. That's it, because he should be able to do it.
Then that's what they should do. They should have an in-house solution. There's no reason to go out and sign another like offensive defenseman
Well,
to
that's
take
why
that
you
over.
need to. That's why you need to see it now to see if it can work under. I guess that they figure they're going to
No.
have a new power play coach anyway.
Yes.
So it
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
Just
It doesn't
just
really matter.
hand him the reins to start the year. Besides, I'm looking at the units on Daily Faceoff right now. First unit is Konechny, Coots, Brink, Forster, Michkov. Like, I guess Brink is the one you would take off that unit, or maybe Forrester. And to be fair, the Flyers don't run their power play the way that other teams do because it's bad. But also, the first unit gets like a minute, and then the second unit gets the other minute.
Yeah.
They don't do like the 140 and 20 the way other teams might.
Mm-hmm.
So, he's getting a chance on the power play, just not with the best unit, I guess. But anyway, so yeah, that's the Pell Lindbergh.
Yeah, so you got Drysdale for that most improved. I think Forster. I think Brink is a good second option though for both of us. So,
Okay.
Then we have the Toyota Cup. Travis Konechny won it last year for the second time in his career. It's simply who earns the most points from star of the game selection throughout the season.
So
Five
dumb.
points for the first star, 3 for the second star, and 1 for the third star.
We could Google this.
Toyota
This
dealers
one is like
sponsor the award and make a donation of $5,000 in the winning player's name to their favorite charity. It has to be Konechny, right? Konechny or Michkov?
We could Google this one. Like, it's just data.
I don't know if they keep track of it though.
Nobody does. Why would you? This is a meaningless award. I think it's gonna be Michkov, honestly.
I don't know if it factors in every game or just home games. I think it's every game. So
Or Risto.
No, I think it's Konechny. Konechny just had so many more big games. Like Michkov might be second, but I think Konechny just gets whoever's the MVP usually gets the Toyota Cup. I'm pretty sure.
Did that happen last year?
Konechny got them both. Yeah.
Konechny. Yeah.
And the year before it was the goalie. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Fair.
Final award, the Yannick Dupree Memorial Class Guy Award, voted by the Philadelphia chapter of the PHWA for a strong report with the media. Nick Seeler won it last year. No player has won it more than once, and he's the
Hathaway.
only. That's got to be Hathaway, right? Especially what you said about his interviews and whatnot.
He seems like the kind of guy that like media people would love to just talk to, and something he could do himself. So I think he's the clear choice here.
Yeah, I think Hathaway is probably the easy choice there. They're not going to want to give it to one of the top guys. The top guys don't normally get it. Like going back, starting from last year, Sealer, Braun, Atkinson, JVR, Lawton, Amac, Couturier, Mason, Simmons, Strike. Amac got it once.
Only award he ever won.
Yeah. So I think Hathaway here could get this one as well.
I think there's a chance that Zamula could get it too. Like anytime he interviews, he just is like bubbly and kind of like cheerful.
And he had to translate for a bit too. He should get some extra points for that.
Yeah, some brownie points for that. So, but I think this is Hathaway in a landslide.
Yeah, I think it's Hathaway. Who's their nomination for the Masterson?
Fedotov.
Is it Fedotov? Okay,
it is Fedotov.
Which that's a good nominee for that. Yeah, but
I mean, who else would they nominate?
Yeah.
Besides, no, I cannot think of any other player in the NHL who has gone through what Fedotov just had to go through. Like, gets arrested and put into military service for a year and is still able to make it to the NHL. I'm gonna bang this drum all the time, but like, it is outrageously good, like PR for the Flyers that they were able to get him over at all. And how people don't trust this front office to get stuff done when they manage to pull that off is bonkers. Wow. Like, that's just a huge thing to have gotten done.
And this might just be looking through orange tinted glasses, but I wonder if these other rushing guys like Demidov, like the Hurricanes guy, would come over early if the Flyers didn't start that with Fedotov, with Michkov. Like I feel like helped at least helped out a little bit.
Yeah. Set the precedent,
Yeah.
Oh, Nikishin. He hasn't come over yet, right?
I
Canes
think
guy.
he signed. He hasn't played yet, I don't think, but I think he
Okay.
signed his deal, and they're trying to get him before the playoffs. I'm not sure how many games they have left though.
Two,
They
I
have
think.
one. They
But
don't they play
one.
the Blue Jackets, right? Because the Blue Jackets have to win both games. Oh,
Habs.
they play the Habs tomorrow. Yes, they are on the other.
No, Thursday,
Is it Thursday?
I
Okay,
think.
yeah.
I put this in the outline. Hold on. Oh no, tomorrow. Tomorrow is Canes at
Okay,
Habs.
yeah.
Sorry.
Okay,
Yeah.
right.
He's so sick, dude. I cannot wait to see him playing in the NHL.
Yeah.
All right. That's it. Only 5 awards.
Those are the awards. I'm pretty
Oh.
sure, according to Wikipedia, you have to Ashby. Yeah, there might be other things that are awarded, but I think that's pretty much it.
Who
What
is your emotional support fourth liner of the year?
my emotional support fourth liner of the year is? Can Hathaway get another one? Are we getting a half trick of awards?
The half trick.
Half trick.
Honestly, he might get the half trick on that one. I've got a lot of time for Jacob Pelletier. I know he's new, but like
Oh, I love
he
Pelletier.
brings some
Yeah.
vibes too. He's on the third line too, so I don't know if that
Yeah, I was gonna say
fully
it would be
counts,
Bobby
but
Brink, but I feel like that's disrespectful to him because he is not a fourth liner.
disrespectful.
Yeah.
Disrespectful to Bobby Brink. Oh, speaking of disrespect, this is totally off brand, but I was watching the Leafs Canes game the other day, and Scott Laughton got a shorthanded breakaway, and he tried to do the slapper from like the dots,
Oh,
like the
yeah.
one that went in against the Red Wings a couple months ago, and I cracked up. The broadcasters started laughing too. They're like, "Oh, he tried that against Detroit and it worked out." And I'm sitting on my couch going, "The disrespect, the disrespect." So, emotional support fourth liner Scott Laughton.
Yes. Before we move on to some prospect news, I do want to touch on the
Mhm.
Couturier interview article
Okay.
that came out today.
Yeah.
That I read through it. Like, it honestly doesn't seem anything too surprising. Like, he came out last year after the healthy scratch and was like, "Yeah, we don't talk. He never told me." His agent came out after the fact, like,
Agent.
yeah, exactly. He's like, "I'm not going to say this, but go ahead, put this out there." So, like,
Yeah.
it doesn't seem anything too. I didn't see everyone responded to it on Twitter or whatever, saying about how like they knew there was clearly a break in the room. Obviously, there was a break in the room. If you have eyes and watch the Flyers even intermittently, you can see that Couturier was named captain, then healthy scratched, and then came out
Hmm.
saying there was no communication. Like, that's clear of what happened there.
Yeah. I
That's all.
just it's whatever, man. It's clear that they didn't get along, which is wild because Couturier seems like a coach's pet or whatever the hockey version of like a teacher's pet would be. So just to see him at odds with the coach you would expect him to get along with, bananas.
Well, speculating here, but I feel like Tortorella was like, "Yeah, you won a Selke Trophy. You were a first line center, but you're not that anymore. You're a bottom six guy, and you have to learn that new role." But I mean, since Torts was fired, like he's been on fire, on that top line with
Yeah.
Michkov and Konechny.
Yeah, he looks refreshed and it makes me hopeful for the future.
Yeah, I put this on Blue Sky earlier this week, but since the Four Nations break, he has 18 points in 23 games, shooting
Woo!
11%. So nothing. It's not like it's astronomical. He's been shooting the puck a lot more, getting goals, getting assists. So he's not going to be a 60-point player, but if he can be 40, 50 points, middle six center, it's still an overpay, but you can deal with it.
Well, and with the cap going up, like this just is what it is,
Yeah,
It'll be fine.
exactly.
All right.
Speaking of the cap, what about Cap Lynn, Joe?
Yeah, nice. Tip of the cap on that one.
Yeah, he signed his entry-level deal today, I believe, and will be
Mhm.
joining the Flyers. I'm not sure if that means he'll get in a game or if they just wanted to burn a year this year. Maybe he'll get in on Thursday.
I don't think it burns the year unless he plays a game.
I thought it burns a
So
year because they want him like to be an RFA earlier or something.
I think he has to play a game for it to burn a year. I don't think you can just sign a guy to a contract. But
he's joining the team and burning a year is what Friedman
there you go.
tweeted out. So I'll trust Friedman over whatever we think.
Yep.
For this.
And I'm fine with that. Oh no, 2 years with a guy who might not be an NHL player instead of 3 years. Well, oh no. I hope he gets in Buffalo. That'd be fun.
Yeah, he should. He's from Bridgewater, New Jersey. I think that's relatively North Jersey, I guess. But yeah, Boston University wore the A there this year. 10 goals, 8 assists in 38 games. So bottom sixer, Dorwart type. Who cares?
Yeah, I like Kaplan a lot coming out of that draft, and then he just kind of for the past 2 seasons.
Yeah, he was 69th overall though, so hopefully he can have a nice future here.
Nice.
At the very least, another piece for the Phantoms next year. That should be Phantoms should have possibly like 3 good lines to watch.
The Phantoms are going to be exciting. I've got an article cooking about. We talked about it last time. The most important move the Flyers can make this offseason isn't a roster change. Mm-hmm. It's a new coaching staff in Lehigh Valley. So keep an eye out for that one.
Yeah.
All right, Kaplan, the one that everybody's more excited about. I gotta bump this to the top. It's Alex Bump signing his ATO, which I found out today you can have both an ATO and an ELC at the same time. I didn't think that was possible. He signed an amateur tryout contract with the Phantoms, so he's going to be in their playoff race. So he goes from winning a playoff championship with WMU straight into a playoff race with the Phantoms, which they might actually be pretty good in these playoffs because now they've got Bump. Luchenko's already there. Luxell's back with them. They might be cooking with something down there. But his ELC kicks in next year. So
Bump. I mean, coming off a tremendous season with Western Michigan, also worthy A there, 47 points, 23 goals, 24 assists in 42 games. He's not afraid to shoot the puck whatsoever. I did a shift by shift with Kyle a few weeks ago on him. Go back and watch that to get a look at what he can do. And yeah, also Pat Ferschweiler, the WMU head coach, could be in the running for the Flyers head coach. I did not realize he apparently was the line mate of Keith Jones there in college at Western Michigan. He's 55 years old. I don't think he's coached in the pros yet before, but keep an eye on him as a potential option.
I thought he was an assistant coach for the Devils.
Yes,
or something.
He was. Yeah, the Red Wings back in 2015 until 2019, I think.
Yeah,
something like that.
Michigan.
Yeah.
So WMU, Detroit, Michigan. Yeah, there's the connection.
Yeah, and then apparently Carson Bjarnason has been assigned to the Phantoms. I think that was on the official AHL transactions page, but not announced anywhere yet. Yeah, reassigned from Philadelphia from Brandon. I can't imagine he'll get any playing time, but I mean, good to have him around the team there.
He's injured, I think. I don't think he's gonna play. He's just gonna. I think he might be injured, or at least he was earlier. So, if he plays, that'd be a little bit of a surprise.
Yeah, I could only see him maybe playing if there's a regular season game that doesn't mean anything. But even at that point, who are their goalies? Their goalies are Cal Peterson.
Makanyemi, if he's healthy.
He's been hurt. And that other guy, the Parker somebody or other.
Gahagan?
Parker Gahagan, right? Yeah.
And Alexei Kolosov, who I assume will be going back to the Phantoms after the Flyers finish the regular season.
Yeah, I would assume so. Yeah, looking at the Phantoms goalies, Cal Peterson has 12 wins, Parker Gahagan has 11, Kolosov 5, Makanyemi 3, and Keith Petruzzelli has 3 wins.
Come again?
Keith Petruzzelli. I believe he was a ECHL goalie, called up for a bit.
Petruzzelli.
Okay, Joe. Yes. Apologies.
Yeah.
All
right.
Yeah, I think that's all the prospect news worth talking about. But yeah, what did you want to get to here with this athletic article?
So I don't know if we're allowed to share it, but or do the presentation stuff with it. But Dom Lucian, I think that's how you say it. Sorry, Dom, if you're a listener, friend of the pod, surely. He released his breakdown of the checklist for a Stanley Cup contender. And the things that you need are like a franchise star forward. Sorry, a franchise forward, a star forward, a franchise defenseman, shutdown forward, a star goalie, scoring forward, scoring defenseman, shutdown defenseman, all this jazz. If you read The Athletic, you know it well. The newest one, or this newest iteration, kind of changed things. He used to do it by position, like forward. It wasn't just forward generic, it was winger, center. And it kind of, undersells how good Nikita Kucherov specifically is as a player, or how good Ovechkin can be. So, yeah, the breakdown is, do you want to just go through it franchise forward by, like, down the list?
Yeah, so I see. Yeah, I see the thing here. Elite core, franchise forward, is going to be your top player.
Yep.
I guess for the Flyers' sake, I don't even think Konechny would reach that level. It would
No, it's Michkov.
hopefully be Michkov in 2 or 3 years, right?
Yep. So Michkov is hopefully your franchise forward down the stretch, and if he comes close to how good Nikita Kucherov can be, that's pretty good.
That's sick.
Yeah, that would be sick. Next up would be star forward, and you just mentioned him.
Yeah,
that would be Travis Konechny, I think. Right, he fits into that second tier of necessary player. The average for that is, let's see, Tarasenko with the Blues in 2019, Kane in 2013, Kane in 2010, Point in 2021, Kuznetsov in 2018, Kane in 2015. That's at the higher end. Really good players. The only reason they're in the middle is because their defensive game wasn't always as good as their offense, so it kind of balanced out that way. The highest one is Matt Tkachuk from last year's run. So
yeah. And you have the franchise defenseman, one offensive and one defensive, right?
Right.
So you need two.
You need two, or one that does it all. In the case of Cale Makar, who just is elite at both.
Or Victor Hedman, or other guys like that.
Yeah. So, who would the franchise defenseman be? We don't have. I mean, defensively, maybe Cam York could be that. Offensively, maybe it's Drysdale. It's too early to say, but it is an area of overall weakness, I suppose.
I feel like looking at trying to having two franchise defensemen, or even just one like Hedman type, isn't fair in today's NHL, because especially look at on this chart where Pietrangelo is in 2019, and then also again in 2023. Like, that Blues team had depth. That Golden Knights team we talk about all the time, it has 6 good defensemen. Like, there's no clear number one. It has a great top 4, and then its third pair is a good third pair. Like, and I feel like that's the way the Flyers are kind of trending.
By committee. Like, the modern NHL, you kind of have to do it by committee. And we've seen it before. What happens when your number one all-around defenseman is injured or unable to play? The whole thing falls apart, because you've invested so much in that one guy that the structure just disappears. We're seeing it kind of with Dallas right now, with Heiskanen out. Man, if they had Heiskanen, they're the favorites in that series, hands down. But without Heiskanen, Ilya Lyubushkin and Matt Dumba on your second pair, we have some serious problems with that. But anyway, that's franchise defenseman, and that's the elite core. No, and then the shutdown forward. Tyson Forrester, baby. Typho.
Hopefully, yeah. I could see him getting some Selke love. Him and Cates together, I feel like, can be a great shutdown combination.
Yeah, I think or honestly, Sean Couturier in his reduced role, he's really good at those matchups. So, you never know.
Yeah, and then a star goalie, which, it's Philadelphia. We're not having a star goalie. We're not having a star.
Jaeger Zvragin, maybe.
Yeah. So right now, where the Flyers stand right now, what do the Flyers have of that elite core? Do we just think the star forward in Konechny? Like, they're like this season, I'm saying, like, Michkov can get there, but like this season, if the Flyers had to fill that out, like on a playoff team, like Konechny could be the star forward, Sanheim could be one of the defensemen.
Yeah, maybe. That's probably about it.
Yeah, and then
But
it's more like they have more of the support core and the depth core type of players.
right. One thing that is interesting to me is that, having that 1C is crucial, but they have the forwards that could fit all those roles in 2 to 3 years' time. They're just wingers. That's the difference.
Well,
Like,
and Jet can be a shutdown forward.
Jet could be a shutdown forward. He might be in that second tier support group, and that's fine if his wingers are so elite that it doesn't matter.
I feel like if feel like Forster Luchenko is going to be what they go with for a shutdown line, and then hopefully that's a second line, and then you keep Cates as a third line.
Oh, baby. That's so good.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Oh, and you could put Brink on the other wing. Oh man. Okay. Or no, you'd put Tippett. Oh, Tippett,
Ooh,
Luchenko, Forster. Oof.
that'd
Okay,
be
we're
good.
getting ahead of ourselves.
Yeah.
All right. The support core. You're scoring forward. Speaking of Owen Tippett, if he can hit the net, that's probably him.
Yeah. Yeah, right now I don't know who the Flyers have this season that would fit that. Like if we're putting Konechny up there, I guess that would maybe be Michkov. You could put him there this season and kind of
This
squint.
season, yes. But projected,
But projected, yeah, he's projected. I mean, his stocks are going up for Michkov, so only on the up and
no.
up there.
Tippett, I am projecting into the scoring
Oh
forward
yeah,
role in like
yes,
2 years.
yes, yeah. I mean, he was there last. I mean, 20 goals this year. Last year, he had what 28 last year, 27 year before. So yeah, he clearly has that potential, and he seemed to be a bit more free without John Tortorella's leash there.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, you look at the graph on this site. The lowest one is Milan Lucic. Like, I mean, Tippett is a better player than Lucic for sure.
Yeah,
And then next up would be Alex Killorn. I think Tippett's better than that. Like, there's Patrick Sharp is on here.
Patrick
Shout out
Sharp's
Patrick
on there.
Sharp.
Phil Kessel, Jeff Carter. Jeff Carter's on there twice. Braden Shen's on there in 2019.
Yeah,
Bunch of former Flyers on this one.
bunch of former Flyers. So I think Tippett could get to that level.
Yeah.
Scoring defenseman.
Your boy.
So,
Your boy.
well, I think Jamie Drysdale could share the load on the higher end, but this one, it might be Emil Andre. Like, this year, absolutely scoring defenseman is probably Jamie Drysdale. Actually, I don't have it in front of me. Did Ristolainen get more points than Drysdale this season? I don't think there's any way that could be true.
Don't believe so. Drysdale 20, Ristolainen 19. So
Okay,
very close. Very close.
Very close. But in the future, I feel like this could be Andre, maybe.
Andre just has not impressed me in the second half since his call up. Do we know what Andre's injury was? Apparently, it's a mid-body injury, according to Broad Street Hockey here. So maybe he had like an oblique or something that would really affect him. So hopefully he can get there. But yeah, that's the thing. Like he's looking more like a third pair tweener right now, and maybe he just needs an off season of recovery to get back to that ceiling we saw.
Yeah, I think he could get there. And then the shutdown defenseman, maybe that's Bonk in the future.
This year was nothing for either of them.
Yeah, Bonk could go either way. He seems pretty balanced. This year was definitely York. York was like one of their best defensemen, which is weird.
Or Risto.
Risto. If he lives out his contract here and gets traded at the last deadline, I mean, so be it at this point. But
that's fine.
That's fine. I hope they do it this offseason. Open up a roster spot, but I understand if it takes a while.
Yeah.
Next up, we've got the support forward. No, not your emotional support fourth liner, but just like a guy who complements the rest of your top nine. Brink maybe currently. Barkey in the future.
Brink is only 23. He'll be 24 in July, so maybe he can hit that next gear. But I just feel like they don't have someone like that yet. Maybe whoever they draft in the first round this year with their later pick, maybe Tippett. Tippett could not, fill out to that scoring guy if they get someone better, like a Kaprizov down the road. Like I feel like that's where they have so many wingers that could have higher potential. This could be what they're at. Like
maybe Luchenko or Cates. Maybe Luchenko or Cates could fill this role, a support forward.
Yeah, I mean, Cates has shown he can score when he has opportunities. He's great 2-way. So
Yeah.
yeah, you can squint and see that.
It's funny because the luxury, like the high end for this is 2013 Brendan Saad, which is
He was
just
great back then, though,
he
wasn't he?
was so good. It's
Yeah,
crazy to think
like
about.
this is Stanley Cup winning teams. This isn't like contending
Yeah,
teams. This isn't playoff teams. This is like the
it's
elite of the elite teams.
only the teams that won the cup.
Yeah,
David Perron in 2019.
that
Dang,
that that whole 2019 team is just a complete exception. I feel like it's just
it's
so
wild.
crazy that the Blues won it then.
Yep. Burakovsky, is that Andre
Andre
Burakovsky?
Burakovsky, yeah.
I didn't know he was a cup winner. That's crazy.
Well, that was with what year was that? Was that with the Avs?
2018. No,
Oh, that's the Caps. That's
that's
the
the
Caps.
Capitals.
Yeah, he was with the
Is
Caps.
he's with the Kraken right now, right?
No, the Kraken traded him somewhere.
I thought that was Bjorkstrand.
They traded both of them. I thought Burakovsky he's with the Kraken. Okay, you're right.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
still with the Kraken. Okay. All right. Dang, I didn't know he'd been around that long.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. All right. Next up is the depth core. So offensive. That's Bobby Brink and Denver Barkey's music, man.
Yeah.
I think that's where they'll fall.
Mm-hmm.
Or someone else.
Are there any wingers? We mentioned Forster, Brink, Tippett. Yeah, no, we've mentioned all the high ceiling guys.
Maybe Alex Bump fills that role. I don't know.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, he's got a good shot.
Ryan Paling, honestly, with his stretch over the last couple weeks, maybe he is that depth offensive forward who brings some punch to your bottom six.
If he can have that stretch in the playoffs, like he's had that stretch these past few weeks, it'd be all for it. All for it.
And then your depth defensive defenseman, that's Nick Seeler. This year it's Nick Seeler. I don't know who it'll be in the future.
Ryan Paling, 15 points in his last 14 games. You got to win 16 to win a cup.
You got to win 16 to win a cup. He could do it. Book it. Ryan Paling goal tonight.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
defense.
What defensive? Where are we at? Defensive forward here for depth.
Defenseman.
Oh, defensive defenseman.
Hunter McDonald.
It could be McDonald. Maybe Zamula will still be around because he's Michkov's best friend. Like, who knows?
A great name on this list, Oduya.
Johnny Oduya, Flyers legend.
Flyers legend, Johnny Oduya.
He played like what, 2 games for the Flyers, something like that?
I think
one
it was
game.
a period. I think it was
played
a period.
One game. He played 12 minutes and 22 seconds.
And I think the story is he played like a period and then just left the bench. He's like, I'm done. And that was it.
I'm hanging him up.
I'm hanging him up. And then depth forward, Gary Hathaway, baby. No, maybe that's more Ryan Paling.
Yeah, there's a lot of stretching we're doing here to fill this out.
Defensive forward of the future.
That could be Barkey. No, I don't know.
Barkey be a little higher than that. Now we're really getting into the
this is just
we're just yapping and spitballing. You know,
I had pipe dreams last show. This is a section full of pipe dreams here.
Yes,
but you have to have, because it's not fun to just be negative all the time.
No, and we're at the end of the season, so we get to just have some fun with it.
Yeah. Cool. What else we got?
Do we want to talk about the draft nonsense? Like,
that's kind of what I mentioned. What I mentioned top of the show. Like, it's just
don't scratch your players to try and bottom out. I don't like. I see people saying like, "Well, they should scratch TK and Michkov to try." Why? They'll never forgive you for that. Like, picking 7th is better than pushing for 4th like that.
Yeah, these are hockey players. They're not going to tank. Like I said at the top, like Shaw is coaching for a potential job. I saw Michkov just hit some sort of bonuses that he's going to get. Like, these people are playing for contracts themselves, and if they're not, they're playing for their teammate that they need a contract. Like, this is a good locker room. You can try to scoff at the culture they're building all you want, but you look at the tanking jobs in the NHL that have worked. What has maybe worked? Like, the Penguins got Crosby and Malkin. Great. Who else tanked? I mentioned the Leafs tanked for Matthews.
That was a different era too. That was like right when the salary cap came around, when the Penguins were tanking. So I can't even like look at that in the same frame, like the same light, because it was such a different time. They were the first team to bottom out and then realize, oh, we can sign our stars to a more team friendly contract because they're homegrown.
And the NHL may have
Tampa?
also gifted Pittsburgh Crosby, but that's
Rigged.
a different.
Every time I spin Tankathon, the Penguins win. I swear to God.
Yeah, we'll do that shortly here. But yeah, I mean,
Mhm.
it seems people, the Flyers are jeopardizing their future by winning these games. Shut the fuck up. Come on. They're not
Shut up.
jeopardizing their future. They're going down a draft pick or two, maybe three. They're still in the top 10. They've had young players take step forwards. They have 7 picks in the first 2 rounds. Like, what more do you want?
That's the key. The young players are the ones driving this. This isn't like Nick Seeler going on a heater. Like, this is Tyson Forrester.
Or Ryan
This is
Poehling going
Matvey
on a heater.
Michkov. Or, huh?
Well, I said, or Ryan Poehling going on a heater. But he's
young
playing with Tippett and Pelletier, which is good to see.
Yeah. Like, it is the young players that need to be good for this to work that are driving these wins.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a bad thing. Like, Tyson Forster scored a hat trick. He has 5 goals in 2 games. What is not to like enjoy about that?
Exactly. Yeah. So that's going to be the talk of it. Like, but yeah, the Flyers. We can go back to the Patrick Kane JVR draft. The Flyers were one of the worst teams in the league. Should have had the first pick. Got JVR instead. Back in the Nolan Patrick draft, we thought, okay, they're picking 2. There's no way they can miss with either Heischer or Patrick. And now we're like, oh, why didn't they take McCarr or Pedersen or whoever else in that draft? It's just hindsight's 2020. Like, you can't pass on these top guys. You can't assume that getting a top pick is gonna be great. We got Michkov with the 7th pick. I know there were extenuating circumstances there, but we still got possibly the best player in that draft at number 7.
Oh, spicy. We'll see.
Spicy indeed. Yeah, so while we're talking about the tank, let me pull up Tankathon here.
Let's do Tankathon, and then we'll do our final game predictions of the season.
We will. Share screen. Tankathon here. Flyers are currently the 6th best. I mean, Buffalo is right there. Pittsburgh right there, 7-8. Seattle in 5th. Let's sim it up here. Pittsburgh, there it is. Pittsburgh.
I told you,
the lottery. Boston number 2. Flyers down to 7 there. Let's look at the prospect rankings here. Let me go to the Elite Prospects Consolidated rankings.
Okay. And while you do that, I do want to touch on a little bit of NHL news, just because we promised it at the top, and I forgot to do it.
We did, yes.
All right, let's take a look here quickly, because Central Scouting released their final draft board, and they have Porter Martone as the 6th best North American skater, which is crazy. All right, Schaefer, Misa, Hagens, Martone, Frondel, McQueen, Eklund, Desnoyers, Smith, Spence, Bear. Where's Job or Job?
Who? Jake O'Brien, 12.
Jake O'Brien, 12. Okay.
Yeah,
Jake O'Brien was the 4th ranked North American skater by Central Scouting. So this is the Flyers are going to get a center. If they want a center, they're going to get one.
Yeah, and it's not like there's only it's not a 6-pick draft. There's not only 6 good players here, and you can always count on one team reaching for a player. Like Beckett Seneca last year with the Ducks. Like these teams, these rankings are not how they're going to be drafted. No, it is not the brother of Jay O'Brien. They're not related. I know there's going to be some PTSD if they do draft a first initial J, last name O'Brien. But
I mean, we need a Job. Do you guys say Job or Job? I've never actually said it out loud.
I say Job because it's O'Brien. Yeah.
Gob Bluth. The Job Redemption Tour.
Yeah. I mean, like Schaefer, Misa, Hagens will probably be gone. Hagens might drop because of his, he hasn't had an exceptional season, and he's smaller and is a U.S. development program kid.
NCAA, yeah.
I like Frondel. Eklund's a good player, not a center, but like if you have Eklund and Michkov on the wings and a decent center, that can be a top line. And Luchenko, and go down here to they're going to have. Oh, you wanted to bring up how the Oilers pick is looking better for the Flyers.
Right. So part of the NHL news, the Kings solidified home ice for round 1. I am picking the Kings. I don't think the Oilers have it. Draisaitl and McDavid are probably still hurt. Like, there's no way.
Yeah, they're beat up. They're beat up.
Stuart Skinner is back from injury. He got lucky last season. I don't think you can ride him to a cup final again. And Cal Pickard, hell no.
Yeah, you're forgetting about their biggest injury. Matthias Ekholm is out for the entire first round. He's their. I mean, they have Jake Wallman now too, but Ekholm's their number one guy.
Wallman's been day to day. I think he's slated to be back, but he's been in and out of the lineup for a while because he's on my fantasy team, and I'm going to lose the BSH fantasy pool this year.
Yeah. Next year we got to make sure the schedule's better so we don't get whoever doesn't get screwed by this resting nonsense.
Yes, so bummed, so stupid. But no, I think the Kings have a path, and we'll talk about this next week. Next week we're going to check in on Flyers in their new homes. We'll hint at one. Andrei Kuzmenko has been on absolute fire.
Yeah.
With the LA Kings. I think it's 16 points in 11 games. Let me just quickly pull this up because
he's on that AK top line for the LA Kings. You got Andrei Kuzmenko, Anze Kopitar, and Adrian Kempe.
Sorry, 16 and 20, but that's still pretty impressive. So
only 16 and 20? No, I don't want that on my team.
No, definitely not. Cool. And then the other bit of news, as a bit of a segue to our game predictions, the Columbus Habs race to the wild card is almost as good as the St. Louis, Minnesota, Calgary race to the wild card. Tonight's game is going to be a lot of fun, I think, because Columbus is like do or die.
In regulation, too. So we could see Columbus put on their goalie, much like the Flyers did last year.
Has to be in regulation. And then later tonight at 9 p.m., Vegas at Calgary. Calgary has to win this game, and Vegas is a tough out. But they've clinched the division. They might be resting their stars, so Calgary might have a chance to.
Eichel hasn't been playing. He's been day to day. He's been ruled out tonight. Petrangelo's ruled out tonight. So the Flames are looking like they might have a chance.
A softer Vegas, like they have a shot. Dustin Wolf has been real good. So if you've got nothing to do tonight, this Flyers Blue Jackets game is kind of appointment viewing, and then 9 p.m. also appointment viewing. Tomorrow, if the Blue Jackets win in regulation today, 7 p.m. Canes at Habs. Canes are the favorites, but they might be resting players as well. Like if the Habs get a point, it's done. I think they're in.
Yeah, if they that's the Habs' final game. If the Blue Jackets need the Habs to lose, and the Blue Jackets have to win both games in regulation.
Right.
So they play the Islanders Thursday.
They do. So at 7 p.m. on Thursday, Isles at Columbus, and if depending how the West goes, 9:30 Calgary at LA. Like this is fun. Especially because we don't have to bite our own nails at our own team going through this process.
Come down to the wire here.
Who do you have making it in the East and the West? Who do you think's gonna seal it up?
I think Montreal gets it. I think the Flyers win tonight. First of all, spoiler alert for our predictions there, but I don't think Columbus can win both in regulation. But I mean, I also didn't think the Canadians would blow it to the Blackhawks last night. So you never know. You never know what happens there.
And technically, Columbus has the cushier schedule. We're the easy out, and the Isles suck, and it's at home in Columbus.
Yeah, so, and Carolina doesn't have anything to play for, but they have that rivalry after they signed Kotkaniemi to that offer sheet. So maybe they will be able to get up for that.
So I think Columbus is going to do it, and I don't think Calgary is, because their last game is at LA, and Los Angeles, like we just said, has an outrageously good home record. So yeah. But I think Columbus does it. I think they do it. So you think they win tonight?
That would be fun. I think the Flyers win tonight. It's going to be 4-3. It's going to be 3-3 tied late, empty net goal by Michkov to secure the win.
Because Columbus pulls it to try.
Columbus pulls the goalie to try to win regulation. Yeah.
I think it's a Columbus win, and I think it's going to be like 5-3 Columbus.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. And then we have Buffalo on Thursday at Buffalo, the last game of the season, last day of the season. Who you got?
I got the Flyers to piss off. I mean, Team Tank is going to be very pissed off. That's going to be a huge game for the Tank. The Sabres currently have one more point than the Flyers. Sabres play the Lightning tonight. No, they play the Leafs tonight at home. Leafs need a win to secure home ice, so the Sabres will probably lose tonight, and then the Flyers will win their final 2 games to move out of a top 6 pick. That's going to be like a 5-2 win.
Yeah. I think they lose. I get the feeling they're going to play Devin Kaplan over like Delorier. And
that's fine. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's fine for sure. But that fourth line isn't. Well, actually, he can't be materially worse than Nick Delorier. Although Delorier scored a goal, so what do I know?
Yeah, that's true.
I think Buffalo just goes ham, and it's like 6-3.
It's always tough in these like last home games of the year for teams too. Like I feel like the Flyers going to come out hot, and they have Columbus to try to knock off, and then at Buffalo might have something up for the last game. And they've been better since getting completely eliminated a few weeks ago. They went on a 4-game winning streak, 5-game winning streak, but then have lost their last 3. But they've been good at home. They've been a good home team. They've won 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 straight at home before tonight.
That's the Sabres?
Yeah.
I mean, there's not palm trees in Buffalo, but they have a good home record, I guess.
Yeah, so the Flyers, I mean, right now are what? They're the 6th best, and if they get 2 wins, they get up to 80 points. They could leapfrog. I mean, the Penguins are there, the Sabres, the Ducks. So, 9th is the worst spot they could have.
Well, unless someone jumps them, and then
exactly. Like other teams are going to play. Teams you don't expect to win are going to win. Teams you don't expect to lose are going to lose.
No, I mean the lottery. I mean in the lottery.
Yes.
Lottery, they get.
Then they go down to 11. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If they somehow do that, if that happens and they don't have a top 10 pick, I mean, people's heads are going to just explode.
My head will explode. Not because I'm like gung ho pro tank. Just like, of course that would happen. Of course that's what would happen.
Of course it would happen. Yes, exactly. Exactly.
But on the other hand, you could trade in.
Yeah, that's why it's great to have all this draft pick currency for the Flyers. They got the Avs pick, they got the Oilers pick, they got the Ducks, Columbus, Calgary picks in the 2nd round. That's a reason to root against Columbus and Calgary. You want them not in the playoffs to get a top 16, 17 in the 2nd round?
I want the Blue Jackets. They've been through hell this year, and a playoff berth would just be like
it would be fun.
Poetic.
It would
ending.
be fun. Yeah, it would be fun.
I'd be gunning for them.
Yeah.
Cannoning. I'd be cannoning for them, not gunning for them.
You'd be cannoning, yeah. We should have exit interviews, breakup day. I would assume Friday and Saturday with the last game Thursday. It is a Easter weekend, but we're gonna try to do some sort of stream on Sunday, whether that's a podcast or just a one-off here. But we'll be back next week with some checking in on some traded players, looking at some top moments of the season and whatnot. If you guys have any questions, any topics you want talked about, you can hit us up in the Discord or on social media.
Exit interview refresh too, like just recap if anything interesting comes through there.
Yeah.
All right, Gilbs, where can they find you?
People can follow me on Blue Sky at ryangilbert.bsky.social.
Yes, you can find me at jfdmarini.bsky.social.
What does the F stand for, or is that private information? We can take
That's
that.
my
offline.
middle name.
I know, but what does it stand for?
Oh, Flynn.
Flynn. I don't think I knew that because I would have remembered that.
I'm super Irish Italian, man.
I'm going to exclusively call you Flynn now.
It's a good nickname,
It's a great name. It's a great name.
I've toyed. My boss back in Singapore, she would call me Flynn. She was from Ireland. She's like, "Oh, Flynn, what are you up to today?" And I'm like, "Hi, Paula." So, yeah. Anyway, we could end the episode now.
All right. Until next time. Thanks for listening.
Go Flyers.